The night was restless. A storm had swept across the land, bending trees under its force, churning the mighty Zambezi into a beast of its own. An old fisherman stood outside his dimly lit hut, his frail hands gripping a tattered fishing net. The rain poured heavily, soaking through his worn clothes. His eyes, wide, unblinking, stared into the dark, seething waters before him. Thunder rumbles, lightning cracks in the distance. The river was alive, but not with the usual rhythm of nature. No, tonight it pulsed, it writhed, it called. That night, the fisherman sat outside his hut, staring into the fire. His wife and children slept peacefully inside, unaware of the cold unease gripping his heart. A wind rose from the river, strange, unnatural. The flames flickered, stretching shadows along the walls. And then a sound, gentle at first. The river's ripples, growing louder, heavier, as if something deep below had begun to stir. The full moon hung heavy in the sky as the fisherman pushed his canoe into the water. The river was still, too still. He cast his net. He waited. When he pulled it up, his boat nearly tipped. The net was overflowing with fish, glistening, fat, more than he had ever caught in a single night. He should have rejoiced, but his hands trembled. And then, beneath the surface, he saw it. A shadow, a shape. Two glowing red eyes staring from the abyss, watching, waiting. At sunrise, the village gathered. The old shaman, his voice filled with urgency, spoke of a warning. The fisherman stood among them, his net full, his head held high, but something clung to his catch. Blackened, unnatural fish scales, slick with something not quite water. The elders pleaded, "Do not return to the river." But the fisherman was proud, and hunger made men foolish. He ignored their words, and beyond them, in the depths of the jungle, the birds refused to sing. The wealth and the fear. Inside his hut, the fisherman counted his riches, stacks of fish, silver coins, fine woven cloth. His family sat near, their eyes uneasy. The storm had arrived, the wind howled outside, but in the shadows behind him, something moved. He felt it, and then two glowing eyes, a flicker. There, then gone. The storm raged. The fisherman sat in the doorway of his hut, staring at the churning river, and then, carried by the wind, he heard it. Fisherman, his breath caught. His heart pounded, his hands clenched into fists. But outside, the Zambezi glowed, and something beneath it was moving. Lightning tore across the sky. The shaman and elders stood at his doorstep, drenched from the rain. Their voices pleaded one last time. Turn back now before it is too late. The fisherman tried to stand tall, but fear was in his eyes. Then, a flash of lightning, and in the storm it appeared, a great serpent black as the night, its red eyes glowing like fire, watching, waiting. Desperate now, the fisherman ran to the river. Waist deep in the raging waters, he fought against the current. His net was torn, his body weak. The waves pulled him deeper. From the depths, a beast of shimmering black scales, towering over him, red eyes burning. The villagers could only watch as the river took him. Morning came, the storm had passed. The village stood in silence, staring at the river. A single canoe drifted, empty. A torn net floated beside it. On the riverbank, his wife and children wept. The villagers gathered behind them, their faces pale with fear. And then, just once, the water rippled, a final whisper. Two red eyes surfaced, before vanishing into the depths. The legend lives on. Years passed, but the whispers never faded. On misty nights, children gathered around the fire, listening to the shaman's voice. He spoke of the fisherman who defied Nyami, the guardian of the river. The villagers sat in solemn silence, their eyes drifting to the waters, where the sunset painted the river in gold and crimson. And far below, beyond sight, something ancient still waits. The river never forgets.